It is Monday, September 12th, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Rob with his really cool mustache is along for the ride as well. I hope everybody out there had an amazing sporting weekend. Week one in the NFL is almost in the books. Crazy excitement in the college football world, and baseball had its share of controversy and cool things happening on the diamond. Plouffe, there was so much excitement. I couldn't keep up.
I'm sure you did keep up. That's what you do, man. Do you guys want to hear about my fantasy football team at all?
Nope.
Oh, okay. No, I don't want to tell you about it because bad week for me. But yes, lots of sports, see, Rosie. We had everything going. Yeah. My youth team, first game. This is a mouthful, but we beat James Loney's Rumble Ponies. The Rail Riders, baby.
That's not their name.
Business.
That's not their name.
Yes,
James Loney's Rumble Ponies.
We did minor league names this fall, dude. We're the Rail Riders. He's the Rumble Ponies.
Oh, cool. I love that. Excellent. Excellent. How'd Teddy do? Did he have fun?
Great. He pitched the first 2 innings, made a couple outs on defense. It was great. He was, after the game, he was disappointed. He's like, I didn't hit the ball as well as I wanted to. And he did great. But he's got that drive, that dog in him, bro. I mean,
all right.
Got it.
I love it. September's a great month in the baseball world, not only because, the pennant chases are in full tilt and all that sort of stuff, but all these teams with extra players and a lot of young guys along play dress up. And nobody did it better than the Dodgers this weekend. The entire team busted it out. And I like it better now than when they used to make the rookies, whatever, walk through the airport. We saw Goose and Maverick. That was cool. I mean, some of the stuff was great. To the invisible boat. The Tiger Woods and Stevie Williams with Mookie and Freddie Freeman was unreal. You saw the Chippendales. Did you have a favorite one that was out there?
I did. I did like the Chippendales one. That takes a little bit of balls, if you will, to pull that one off. I did have a few things to say about it, though. Gallo, you look great. Andre Jackson, you look great. And they went actually bare-chested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, we worked for this. I'm going to show it off. And then Belly and Turner had some sort of I don't know what you call it, like a mask for their chest. What do you call that? Prosthetic?
Yeah. It's the fake chest. It's the ab chest.
It looked great, but my one problem is, I get that Turner had it because, he's old, third baseman, veteran. He doesn't have time for abs anymore. But Belly, bro, I feel like Belly has to have abs behind there. He should just shown his own off, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have abs, Belly, you better get him. And then last thing on that one, I zoomed in. I wanted to see what kind of draws the boys were wearing. And Belly had Fruit of the Loom on.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing?
I mean, it's fine. No?
It's just not very show. Unless he's got to deal with them, maybe. Then that's very show. But I just noticed that. Okay, that's all. But they look good. I thought that was a really good costume.
Now you're giving out tough grades on dudes' draws.
I do everything, man. Yeah.
Okay. If you're joining us audio only, join us on the YouTube side of things, or if you want to, check out the Dodgers Twitter for all the great costumes. Let's start this show with the Dodgers. I am wearing their lid. Why? Because for a 10th straight year, they have basically clicked their postseason ticket. There's a couple of 3- and 4-way tiebreakers where they still can't make it, and if they lose every other game from here on out, don't think that's going to happen. So, it was interesting. Andrew Heaney, who pitched well against the Padres and got the win, he said, listen, everybody around here, it's like ho-hum. For me, I've never been in the postseason. This is a really big deal for me. This is awesome. So should we give the Dodgers more credit that they have now had a decade of dominance?
I think we give them enough credit. We especially on this show, we talk glowingly of the organization, of the players on the team, the way they run things. And I think that's kind of the point of it all. Yes, the Dodgers have tremendous resources at their disposal, but they deploy them in a way that, it's becomes a well-oiled machine. They think about the things that they need to think about. They were one of the first organizations to treat their minor leaguers better, get them better food, healthier food options after the game. Gabe Kapler actually spearheaded that whole thing for them. And simple stuff like that. They have so many coaches, Chris. When you're a parent and you're thinking about schools, you don't want one teacher to 35 kids. That doesn't work. So they approach it the same way. They have probably a coach to every 3 players in their organization. It's crazy the things that they do, but they're there are the other dynasties that kind of line up, the postseason runs like this, where the Braves from whatever that was in the 90s, and then the Yankees in 95 to 2007. Like, this is a real deal historic run they're on. But man, like, you can't really even point to just one thing. They do everything right.
So, yeah, the Braves had 14 straight postseason appearances. The Yankees had 13 in a row. It's interesting because at the end of the day, the only question people are going to have is, did you lift the commissioner's trophy or not? They've done it one time, and it was in a pandemic-shortened season. So I think there's no question. If you were to ask those guys, even that won rings in 2020, how badly do you want another one?
Sure.
They want it bad because they want to say, yeah, we did it over 162. I think I think a lot of those guys would say that. And we live in it's win or you don't win society. It's that simple. This isn't kindergarten where you get a participation trophy and people are like, hey, you tried hard. But at the same time, I look at it, and 10 straight years to make it, not just like, they've had a ton of injuries at times during this run, a ton of them. Some teams would have been taken down. And the Yankees haven't made the playoffs every year over the last 10 years. The Red Sox haven't. Those teams spend.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they know how to deploy their resources. They do it such a good job. And there's a little bit of luck involved with it, I think, like in the draft and stuff like that. But like, the better you are, the luckier you are, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not that they bring in every free agent and give them gobs of money. Yes, people will look at Freddie Freeman. Yes, people will say, well, they made the trade for Mookie Betts and then they signed him at $365 million. That's fine. They also draft and develop as well as any team around. And you know what else they do? They pick up guys off the scrap heap and turn their careers around, and the players do it too, right? Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, Max Muncy. Those are guys that could have been had by any team out there, and they all became all-stars, and they all got multi-year deals here in Los Angeles, and all have been critical parts of this 10-year run. So I applaud them for what they do. You don't have to like the Dodgers, but you have to respect the hell out of them. It's funny because a lot of people are like, Rose, you're such a Dodger hater. This is the model franchise in this sport right now. It's that simple. You want to be the Los Angeles Dodgers.
100%.
So good for them. Albert
So
Pujols,
are you a Dodger fan now?
No, I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm a Cleveland fan.
Oh, okay.
I like to see the Dodgers in it because I think it's great theater. I don't mind if they win at all. But I also I like it that teams that people root against them. It's the same way I feel about the Yankees and about the Red Sox, because people either love them or hate them. That's great for the sport. Makes it more interesting for me. That's all. But if somebody's like, well, you've lived in LA for 23 years, why aren't you? Because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
That's right. You're proud too.
Well, I almost got a Cleveland LA World Series 6 years ago.
Yes.
That would have been crazy.
Did you go to any games?
Went to all 7.
I'm just kidding. Let's
Albert
do that this
Pujols.
year.
Oh, I'm in. Home run number 697. He now stands all alone in 4th place all time. Only Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth have more. Cool part of this story. You think it's 697. He wants the ball back. No. Caught by a young lady who had lost her father a year ago to the day. Albert said, you know what? That baseball is going to mean more to her than it will to me. Tip of the cap to the future Hall of Famer. Holy, like, you hear that? I get chills even talking about it. I love it. That's a wonderful story. Just, he understands what he's going through here and how he can affect people's lives. So let's start with that. I mean, that part of the story warms your heart, dude.
Yeah, he totally gets it. And, he's hit 697 homers. He might not have enough room for that one. So I think it's okay to let them take it home. And because he's right, though. Like, yeah, that is a historic ball. He moved into 4th place, all time by himself. And he put that one up, but for them to have it, I mean, that's such a special moment. I think he's, like you said, he just gets it. But I love the way he's getting these home runs too, Chris. I mean, these aren't just like meaningless, random home runs. These are go-ahead home runs. He's not limping into these records. He's like blazing into them. His numbers on the year are incredible. This is not in a million years did anyone expect Albert Pujols to play like this, man. And I think that's the coolest part is like, he's not limping into it. This isn't like Bernie Mac and Mr. 3000, bro. This guy is going on. He's on fire. He's helping the Cardinals win that division.
I think it's great. Great. And I'm happy for those two people who got to hang on to that baseball, and it's a great story. I guess very quickly, doesn't Marmol have to start Pujols every game the rest of the year? I mean, maybe you give him a day off if it feels like he's dragging and, the bat's not fast through the zone and all that sort of stuff. But I don't care. Even if he's facing a tough right-hander, don't you have to start him?
They have an 8-game lead in the division. And, gosh.
It's 21 games left.
They maybe have a shot at that number 2 seed. But, like, the way he's going, yeah, you play him. You play him. 100%.
Now, his numbers, the splits are pretty drastic. It's almost a 500-point difference between his OPS against left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching. Does that matter to you?
Let him get hot against right-handed pitching right now. I mean, look, again, I get that you have that chance to get to the 2nd seed. It's a slim chance. Like, you kind of have the division wrapped up, if you will. I mean, it's – let him play. I don't know. I'd give him a few extra starts, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question. I think it's interesting. I'm going to be doing a Lucas Giolito episode, and so I'm going to ask him the question that if he was out of it, either their team was basically like locked into a playoff seed in the last week of the season, or if his team was out of it, would he pitch Albert any differently with history on the line? Is that a fair question?
Sure. I think he's going to say no. I think most guys would say no, but I would. I'd be grooving that shit, man. Here you go. Especially if you're an established starter, like you got paid already. I would just, maybe challenge him a little bit more than usual. How about that?
Do you think guys would want to be number 700, or would it piss them off?
Again, it depends on the guy. Like a guy that's, again, if your team's already secured a playoff berth and your numbers are good and you have the contract, like, who cares? That's the way I feel about it. A lot of guys will tell you, like, I don't want to be that guy in the video. Who cares? Isn't David Price Jeter's 3,000 hit?
That's exactly who it was.
He loves it.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because I don't think he knew at the time. If I remember the story correctly, I don't think he knew at the time, like, why is everybody going nuts here? And I think the umpire came out and said, hey, you just gave out Jeter's 3,000th hit. I think that's what it was. He might be the best pitcher to give up a milestone moment. That'd be a fascinating one, because most of the guys, like, I think, didn't Mike Bassick give up Barry Bonds' record-breaking home run, and didn't Traxel give up McGuire's? I want to say it's something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember all those swings, man.
The best thing I can remember, I think Robbie Alomar was the last out of one of Nolan Ryan's no-hitters. So that's Hall of Famer on Hall of Famer. Pretty
Joe
good.
Carter's homer was off of
Mitch Williams.
Mitch Williams. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's not. He wasn't elite. He was good.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, stud.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
There's got to be some closers. Oh, Eckersley. Kurt Gibson.
Yeah, that's a memorable moment. That's not like a milestone. I'm talking about like
I guess you're right.
But it's
a
good point. It's a good point. That's a good point.
And just like that, the football season has kicked off. Some teams are off celebrating, having champagne. They're 1-0. Some teams are hiding in a hole because they're 0-1. But you, my friends, you can get an easy W. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving it to you. All you have to do is bet $5 on any NFL wager, and you instantly receive $200 in free bets. Go get the W, get to 1-0. You know what to do. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code JOHNBOY and receive $200 and free bets instantly when placing a $5 wager. That's promo code JOHNBOY only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right. Crazy game in Seattle on Sunday. Braves erupted for a 5 spot in the ninth, hit a couple of homers to take the lead. Then Julio hit his second bomb of the game to tie it off of Kenley Jansen. Then Eugenio Suarez hit his solo shot to win it and come from behind. And then, of course, everybody in the world is talking about Kenley Jansen and how he's really struggling as of late. What about his manager, Brian Snitker? What does he have to say about this whole thing?
He's had last 5 outings. He's had 3 saves. He's pretty good Friday night. He's had bad days, all. He's leading the league in saves.
Just a bad day, y'all. He's still leading the league in saves. You buying it, or should Braves fans be worried when they get to October with Kenley?
I love that he said that. That's a perfect way for a manager to handle that situation. What, are you going to bury your closer for no reason just because a reporter asked you about it? I don't think they're there yet with Kenley either. Like, this is a guy who, we know he can just run off a streak of 15 consecutive perfect outings. Like, he can do that. That's the kind of guy he is. He has struggled as of late. I think if it continues, then yeah, you're going to start to look for different options, maybe get Kenley in some lower leverage situations, work some things out, whatever you need. I mean, they have guys that can do that. They traded for Iglesias. So it could happen if Kenley continues to struggle, but I don't think they're there yet. He'll continue to get opportunities to get saves, to work it out. But yeah, if he struggles, they got guys.
It's interesting because I think all anybody remembers about Kenley's Dodger postseason career is that he was not on the mound when the Dodgers won it all. It was Julio Urias that had moved to that great bullpen role. Kenley struggled at times, the Brett Phillips knock, all sorts of stuff. But look at his numbers overall in his postseason career. You're going to find few closers who have put up more dependable October numbers. 57 playoff games, 2.13 ERA, 13 Ks per 9, and a whip of 0.8. That's dominance. And a lot of the times it was more than a 3-out save for him. They really rode him hard. Now he's basically a 1-inning guy at this point of his career. Listen, the Braves do have a guy, you talked about Iglesias, but Will Smith, and we had questions about him going into the playoffs last year, and he was nearly perfect. And he ended up being on the mound when they won it all. So they do have that option if they need to go. I think the Braves are in a good spot with that. And yeah, I ride him until he, for whatever reason, forces you to make a critical decision. But we're weeks away from that. Yeah.
We're not there yet. And, like for him, he just needs to locate better. He hung I guess that was a slider to Julio, and he ain't missing that pitch. Julio ain't missing that pitch. I don't think a lot of people are missing that pitch. And then, the cutter didn't really get it in far enough. I don't know if he was trying to go in or away, I forget, but it was middle in down to Suarez, and that's where he crushes the ball. So that was location. I wouldn't be worried yet if I was a Braves fan.
By the way, I said this on Friday. Braves Mariners.
Yeah.
That's pretty entertaining series if it happens. For Fox, they would hate it, but I don't care about that part.
You know what? I get the ratings might not be there, but there are some exciting fucking players on these two teams. So like it could, and I mean, you put them with that spotlight and they put the games up like they can put up. I mean, dude.
Yep.
Like that's real talented, excellent baseball being played in that series, man.
I'm with you. Sometimes you have to look outside of our little world that we live in our baseball world, to kind of get an understanding. There's a lot of people that are probably motherfucking me right now saying, well, Rose, what are you talking about? I can just tell you, having been around that, I know how they think. Yeah. Okay. So
they want the big markets.
Not only do they want the big markets, if they get a series like Seattle against Atlanta, they need to root for a 7-game series, because then you can continue to build the storylines. If they get that and it goes 5 games, then baseball's going, ugh, really? That can't happen, But that's what makes the playoffs fun, man. Challenge yourself sometimes. If you don't know a lot about a team or a group of players, sit down and watch them. You might find out you like them.
I mean, there's like bona fide stars on these teams too. Like
totally.
Dude, and some stars in the making, dude.
Yeah. Julio
Money Mike
right there at the Julio's right there at the point where he is going to take off if they get on any sort of October run. I know he's like right at the precipice of the rocket launching pad. He's right there. And
say precipice again, baby.
Precipice. He is.
Hey. Robbie Grossman, my guy. Is there any doubt that he's going to be a postseason hero? There's no doubt.
No, he's got that smell to him right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's like kind of, like that grizzled, like kind of like dirty ball player, bro. I love it.
What's he I haven't really kept track since he got traded. He was so terrible in Detroit. I felt bad for him because, I looked at that multi-year deal he signed. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Dude's had a really good run. And let's see here. Oh, he's doing all right. Not doing it. He's got 4 homers, which is double the number he had in Detroit. But his OPS is still under 700. But
let that guy get hot.
Switch hitter, right? So can help you.
Could be this year's Jock Peterson. Or last year's, whatever that means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he's busting out any pearls anytime soon, but you never know. Can we talk about an impressive series win, make it a sweep this weekend? My Cleveland Guardians over your try-hard little Minnesota Twins.
I don't want to talk about
Guardians. Yeah, we do. The Guardians got some great starting pitching. They got some timely home runs. But the most interesting thing happened on Friday night when James Karinchak, who had a consecutive scoreless inning streak of more than 24, got in a little trouble in the 8th inning. And Rocco Baldelli, in the middle of an at-bat, asked for a substance check on Karinchak. So Teddy Barrett, the home plate umpire, has to come out, check the glove, check the belt, and then gave him a lice check, of all things, in the middle of the diamond. Gamesmanship, or is this fair play?
Oh, baby. I love that Teddy Barrett was the one that had to do this, dude. That guy has lived a life, man. I think it's a little bit of both. And I'm okay with it. And I'm going to explain why I'm okay with it. We know that there's stuff going on, okay? I'm not saying Karinchak is 100% cheating, but there are guys that are trying to skirt the rules that are happening right now as far as checks, okay? I don't think Rocco or any manager should just go and check every single player and do that. But when there are things that kind of look out of place and wacky, like you see his hair, like I mentioned this to you, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. That if you look at him, the way he grabs his hair, like what is going on there? It's very suspicious. So if there's something really if a guy was going to his belt every pitch, Chris, and then like wiping it or doing whatever, like that's suspicious. I would go have him checked. I don't think that is like out of the realm of things that you should do as a manager. I don't think it's like picking on anybody or anything like that. It was pretty weird and suspicious, I'll say. So I have no problem.
The middle of an at-bat, though, Trev? The middle of a fucking at-bat? That's some bullshit.
That's the gamesmanship aspect of it. I don't love that. You didn't let me finish my point. I was kind of going on rambling, but I don't like that part.
I thought it was shitty. And you know what? Even Tito, who remains pretty calm, popped an extra little bit of chew and then chewing gum in his mouth, and he looked over at Rocco and he goes, He was pissed. And the Guardians were pissed. I think they have a right to be, because Cal Quantrill, who was the starter of that game, made a great point. He said, you know what? We as pitchers can get checked, and there's no repercussions for the other team. He said, why don't we make this like a replay challenge? Like if you're wrong on your replay challenge, something happens. So we can just continually check every pitcher as much as we want. And there's no... What happens?
That doesn't happen, though. That doesn't happen. And it hasn't ever happened in the history of the game.
But what's to prevent somebody from doing it now?
Because of this, dude. Like anytime any pitcher gets checked, we make a massive deal out of it. You remember when it was like Peralta and Madden or whatever? When Peralta was on the Rays, they did it. I think it was maybe Davey Johnson.
Yeah,
that's who did it.
Peralta, right? Yeah.
And everyone freaked out about it. It's like, dude, we're not doing that. We're not, as a sport, checking every single pitcher. We're not doing that. The umpires go, they wipe the hand barely. There's no managers doing that all the time. It just doesn't happen. Okay. Again, I said, if it's suspicious, why not? He knows that shit's suspicious.
So do it at the beginning of an inning.
Yes, I agree with that. And if it did get out of hand like that, where a manager is just doing it to do it, then we would have to implement some sort of rule. But it's not there yet.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of fucked up. Karinchak, by the way, ended up giving up a home run to Correa. So some people will say, hey, Rocco Baldelli did his job. Even if they didn't find anything on Karinchak, you know what? He got inside of his head and made him lose concentration or whatever. And then it's possible. I don't know believe me, I have no idea what's inside of James Karinchak. I do not want to get there anytime.
Has he been on the rotation yet?
No.
He needs to be on the rotation.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of a shitty inning. It started out with our guy Austin Hedges going over and making an amazing catch in the Twins dugout, and nobody helped him. And I always love this. Well, the guy comes over to our dugout. We're not supposed to help him. A human being at the end of the day.
Did someone say that?
Watch a guy get air? No, but that's what I always hear. If it's the other guy, we're not supposed to
no
help
one
him.
says that. No ball player would say that.
So why didn't anybody help him?
They messed up, but there's no way they were like doing that on purpose. They just didn't do it. It was they messed up. That's your duty as a guy in the dugout. Like, you're gonna protect somebody.
They didn't.
I know.
I like the Twins a lot. I do. I thought they had a shitty weekend with that. I thought that they kind of. I understand they don't have Buxton. They didn't have Polanco. They're pitching. They got a lot of guys on the injured list. I understand it. They feel like their playoff lives are slipping away. I thought they had a bad human weekend.
Okay. Karinchak got the save the next day. He's fine.
I know.
And he loved it. He picked up Hedges and almost threw him out of the stadium.
No, man. He's a weirdo.
He needs to be on the rotation.
I'm not so sure that's going to happen. Maybe. Sunday Night Baseball, they got not a great game. Not a great game, but Franmill Reyes, who had a tough season in Cleveland, has been a bit better on the north side of Chicago, certainly entertained us with a little bit of singing during his mid-game interview.
And I will always love you. You see? It's beautiful, hey?
Oh my God.
He's a good personality. I remember when he did that a bunch of years ago in San Diego in a post-game interview. That's where it all started. That's where ESPN got it from, because there are no new creative ideas in media. If you had to be put on the spot and sing one song in front of a national TV audience, what would it be?
There's a couple. Okay. I had this happen to me before. I was out my rookie year in Chicago. I think it was after Jim Tomei's 40th birthday party. We all went out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're at a dueling piano bar, and all of a sudden I get called onto stage. Of course, bro. Of course. And I was really nervous. I'm not like a karaoke guy, dude. I don't have that in me. I wish I did. Anyways, I end up singing Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places because I know all the words to that song. And I killed it. Good. I crushed it. So I think that's the song I would sing.
So I have no problem getting on a stage. I'm not a good singer, but I like to sing. But I also like to entertain. So It is Adam Sandler, the Hanukkah song.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Good. I've heard you sing that song, actually.
Yeah, it's good. I do a good Sandler impression. I've always been proud of it. I need to do that in front of Adam Sandler somehow.
Let's do it, man. You do a good Adam Sandler impression. That's a tough song to sing, too.
Oh, I love it. And when I do sing it at like birthday parties and stuff, I sang it at the baseball winter meetings like 7 or 8 years ago. The place was rocking. It was good. It was fun.
Chad Pinder and I had a duet, an Audio Slave song, and I would sing the second verse, he would sing the first verse, and we had a plan to do it in front of everybody on the bus. But it just never happened. We were injured at the same time. Then I got shipped off because I stunk. But maybe one day Chad and I will come and perform that duet for everyone.
I got to check in on my guy, Chad Pinder. I think he's a Panthers fan. Is he a Panthers fan or is he a Washington fan? I forget which one it is.
I'm not really sure.
I remember talking to him at the John Boy Media House. I got to check in on him and see how. God, I want to see how everybody's fantasy team did. You said you had a bad run, huh?
No, not good. I have bad quarterbacks. Shoot. Joe Burrow was one of them.
He's from Virginia. Good point, Robbie. But I forget. Maybe he's just a McCaffrey fan or something. Forget what I won by less than 1 point.
Go see Rose.
Beat my nephew. And I suck. My team's terrible. I'm so bad at this. All right, what do you have coming up on John Boy Media?
Directly after this, I'm going to Talking Baseball with the boys, Monday recaps, talk about all the games, mess around. I have a new segment I do, Slump Watch. They tell us who's not doing well, and then I pump them up. I gas them up a little bit. So I love it.
That.
I'm made for that job.
Good.
You?
I have got Tony Clark, the executive director of the MLBPA, an interview that you helped set up. Thank you very much. Really interesting guy. I think it's good for people to find out a little bit about who he is. You know, people, they remember, okay, played 15 years, played in an all-star game. His stories are excellent. You know, he played college hoops at University of Arizona and then at San Diego State. Thought he was going to go that direction, was the number 2 pick in the baseball draft behind Chipper Jones. And we did obviously talk a little bit about negotiations and what it's like, and if he thinks Rob Manfred is really in it for the good of the game or
wow, you asked him that?
I did.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. And he was excellent. I mean, he was a lot of fun, and we'll be checking in with him, I think, probably once a year or so.
He's got a booming voice.
He's great. He's got a great voice and a great look. His beard
Give me a Tony Clark impression.
No, I can't do that. I'll work.
You don't have it yet? Okay, work on it.
No, I'll definitely have to listen and work on it. It is deep. It's deep, and he's so smart too. I feel like a moron when I talk to guys that smart. All right, we are back at it again on Tuesday for Trevor Plouffe and our amazing producer, the one and only Robbie Scirocco. I am Chris Rose. We'll see you Tuesday here on Baseball Today.